Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Today, let's look at security, but a sort of a different aspect, regional. We're going regional now, talking about an initiative of the Economic Community of West African States. They had a meeting, and where they brought center the whole issue of how can we, a multidimensional standby force comprising police, military, even civilian components to sort of bring much better to bear on the state of our security. This morning, our guest, is in our Abuja studio, Mr. Ademola Oshodi. He's an SSA to the President on Diplomatic Affairs. Good morning to you, Ademola.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate your coming on. Okay, so let's talk about this. I mean, our military are dealing with security is the first thing that one would hear. And so which one is civilians? They're not, they're not ignoring civilians. There's the military, and then there's the police. How do you, this is among the big wigs in ECOWAS, especially the security area, coming together with this initiative. Give me your understanding of this, because I would have thought that the military, they are the arguably most powerful force that everybody has. But this is a regional cooperation. So if I understand it, the police forces in our region are supposed to come together as part of a multi-dimensional standby force. Give me your understanding of what's going on now.
Thank you. The most important part of any society is security, and not just in a village or a city or country, but also in any part of the world, especially in the subcontinent of Africa, West Africa in particular. You've noticed over the past few years there's been, in fact, about over a decade, there's been a lot of political and social upheaval in West Africa with the rebels in the Sahel region. That's the region where the Sahara meets sub-Saharan Africa, in countries of Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger. There's a lot of insurrection rising up against the government. A lot of this has been based on issues of poverty, climate change challenges, and also the political dynamics of each country. Governments staying on for longer than it should, democratic norms being challenged and subverted, and also, in particular, cheap, available arms coming in from the broken system of Libya. So we have arms coming into West Africa. So the region has become really rather volatile. We have military coups in those countries. We've had, refugees. We've had a lot of migration. ECOWAS has taken it upon itself to do more preventative diplomacy, whereby we can work behind the scenes to ensure security and safety of civilians are put in place, and also to ensure that if there's a crisis, it doesn't spill over to other places and becomes a bigger mess than it should. So the opportunity to bring up a standby force, which includes police, military, and all sort of security apparatus, is vital to ensuring that security is kept and enhanced in the West African sub-region.
Thank you. Is this special because the emphasis seems to be on police, gathering the police, within the ECOWAS region? We know there might be, well, when we talk about an ECOWAS standby force, of course, that's with military. but there seems to be an emphasis on the police this time. Arguably, the police have their work cut out for them. Adding this to their schedule, how do you think that's going to work effectively? And do you think it will work effectively?
It's not just police. Police is obviously closer to the civilian population, and they can easily, they've been trained to deal with civilian issues, crime and issues of, just low violent crimes and ensuring there's peace and order in a locality. It's not just a Nigerian police. I hope that's not what you're implying. It's
no. I'm implying the Sierra Leonean police, Liberia police, everybody's police.
Yes.
In the region.
Yes. Yes. It's a collaboration of different police. So it's not just police working, but police would, I assume police would work closer to the locality, to the people, whereby the military would work more of a strategic parameter around major conflict areas, ready to engage miscreants or dissidents that want to harm the civilians in that locality. So I don't think it's, and it's obviously we're not looking at a massive police force that will jeopardize the police force in each of the countries. But it's important to have a spread of security apparatus, and I'm sure intelligence is also would be also involved in this security makeup of the standby force in West Africa.
Okay.
It's important that things are all used and put in place, especially resources. It's easy to start something, but it's important to maintain it and to fuel it with resources, not just financial, but manpower, to ensure that the peace is enhanced in the West African sub-region.
Okay. Let me ask, because this is in the area, the realm of diplomacy, I imagine, what is to be understood by the diplomatic expression that ECOWAS pushes for forceful police collaboration to tackle regional troubles, regional threats? Forceful police, collaboration.
Well, Uncle Yori, I believe it's part of the preventative diplomacy being applied by ECOWAS. Forceful is more of a preventative action to ensure that if there is a risk to life and property and a risk to a crisis spreading, especially across the border, because we know that the West African border is rather porous. You have arms coming in, you have migration and immigration, illegal. You have also have issues of people, farmers and herders moving from one spot to another. So it is ensuring that you say a forceful entity is a potential forceful entity has been put in place is part of that preventative measure. You don't want to send signals of a force that would not be capable or would not be able to provide safety and security. So yes, I want to believe that if they will be engaged, they will respond. So it's important that first and foremost, security and safety is brought in that locality. We don't want a West Africa that will spread chaos, that will come to the borders of other peaceful countries in West Africa. And we also want to resolve issues in those countries. There's crisis, potential crisis that could happen in Ivory Coast. There's an election coming up. The President Kouchara is running for a fourth term. Reports that he's not allowing opposition figures to, for some reason, the courts are not allowing opposition figures to run for that election. That is a potential problem. There's also issues in Togo that is coming up. There's the government there has said that elections will be done within the parliament, not to the general population that most democracies are. That is a potential problem. We don't want whereby we have four military governments in West Africa in ECOWAS, or three of them have left ECOWAS. We don't want four military leaders. We already have four military leaders in West Africa. We don't want additional crises that would, in many ways, encourage people to rise up against the government. So this preventative force, this police force we talked about, this military force, intelligence, and also, I would say, a rescue force of medics is important to be put in place as a preventative and also a post-conflict situation. So when there is a problem, they have the forces ready. Not that we're flying, we're looking for planes or looking for soldiers to fly to some place to preserve, human life, to avoid a genocide or mass refugees going across the border, and also creating crisis and affecting security in another peaceful area. So the preventative force is, or the standby force, is part of that whole equation, part of that composition. So we need to ensure that insurrection and military rule and all sort of crises do not spread in West Africa.
Now, I have to be delicate about how I say this, but Nigeria has been known to carry, a substantial part of the weight. And this is where, you being the senior special assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and Protocol will be in a position to know that's not really our desire, but sometimes I think we pick up the slack. So what I'm going at here is, do all the countries, or have more of the countries in the region, begun to sort of take the issue of their dues seriously? Because all of this is going to cost something, I'm imagining, and it's best if everybody is contributing his own part, apart from the meetings that we hold and everybody saying that, yeah, it's a good idea. But when it comes to the action, are you optimistic that everybody will come across, as agreed?
Well, it's the matter of dues is important. It's important that everybody pays their dues, but it's also important that Nigeria, being the largest economy by far in West Africa, even the economy of Lagos is larger than most countries combined in West Africa. So it's important that Nigeria takes the big, burden of this. We have more to gain and we have more to lose. Nigeria is one of the founding fathers of ECOWAS. ECOWAS, Nigeria has tremendous opportunity to spread its soft power. It's basically cultural and benevolent in many ways, benefits to West African countries. Nigeria is a stabilizing force in West Africa. So I think it's paramount that Nigeria carries the burden of the financial weight of ECOWAS. It doesn't mean that the other countries in West Africa should not pay their dues. But with Nigeria being strong, able, and democratic, it gives the opportunity for the other countries to mirror the country, Nigeria. The opportunity for them to look at Nigeria and say, well, you know what, it's our big brother, and they lead the way, and they can in many ways provide some sort of succor to their challenges. West Africa right now is moving away from the West. France is, in many ways, has been removed militarily or security-wise from West Africa, especially the French African countries. We also have the American administration that is in many ways thinking more about itself and its interest and bringing up tariffs. It's a great opportunity for Nigeria to export its goods and services in a larger market and a stable market.
Okay, one moment.
In West Africa. So it's
one moment, Ademola.
We take the lead on
I beg your pardon for interrupting you, Ademola. We have a caller, so please, sorry for interrupting you. Good morning. Who is on the line?
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning. That is Mr. George from Ikeja. Good morning. Please go ahead.
Okay. Good morning to the guest, Uncle Yori.
Okay. Ademola Oshodi.
I think what is known as the ECOWAS, West African, something like a West African military force. Or it's comprised of soldiers, not policemen. I would have thought that being an external affair, not an internal affair, the military are better placed to execute it. Because what I saw on your headline is police force. So do you think does the guest think that the police can do it instead of the army?
Okay, sir.
But it's a good idea, and I think if it is made a steady one, not the one that after a while you dissolve it, made a steady one. Every government that comes to each of the countries to be supervised by ECOWAS Secretariat. I think it would be a good idea.
Okay. Indeed. Thank you very much. It's a standby force comprising the police, the military, there are even civil components. But Ademola, what are the differences between ECOMOG as known and this broader initiative that is being discussed?
This broader initiative, as you well stated, is more encompassing. It's comprehensive. It again, I stress, it is more preventative, and it's a standby force. ECOMOG was post-conflict. We had crisis in Liberia, in Sierra Leone. ECOMOG was the economic community. I think I can't remember what the M stands for. Military or monitoring group. I think monitoring group.
Yes, I think monitoring group.
We comprised a lot of soldiers from Nigeria, mainly Nigeria, Ghana, and a few other West African countries. And it was to basically provide, intervene in those countries I mentioned to bring stability and to stop the carnage, the absolute carnage in Liberia and Sierra Leone, where refugees were running across the border, people's arms have been chopped off, villages have been burnt, there's a lot of violence against women, and it just went on. It was also potentially going to spread, and it did spread from Liberia to Sierra Leone, potentially could have spread even further. So it was very important that the ECOMOG at that time, brought in by Nigerian Head of State General Abacha, to bring stability to that place. And it did. Nigerian soldiers sacrificed their lives. Nigeria poured a lot of resources to bring about stability in those countries. ECOMOG was, again, post-conflict, or basically during the conflict, to bring stability. And, eventually, I think international community, the British, he also intervened to finally stop the war. But not until the ECOMOG, led by Nigeria, had sacrificed a lot for those countries. So ECOMOG is military, and it's more enforcement.
Okay.
This new initiative is more preventative and also ensuring that there's that ready force.
A bit more collaborative.
Conflict, if there's
collaborative with other security aspects. Oh, okay.
Yes, and I would mention the fact that a lot of it is initiative of the work ECOWAS, led by the Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu during the ECOWAS summit, to ensure that the standby force was not only brought up, but also action taken to implement it as soon as possible.
Maybe that's why even our Inspector General of Police, he sent a representation to this meeting, as indeed other countries as well. So still staying on you know, Mr. George calling in and wanting to understand the difference between ECOMOG and, you know, the current arrangement, which is a broader, as we have been told, is a much broader initiative. And you've also explained how that is all about policing for all sorts of aspects that could be injurious. There's a proliferation of small arms. We've always known this. Every time you have these conflicts and it comes to an end, captured, you know, small arms, oftentimes it is said, end up where they're not supposed to end up. So I suppose these are serious aspects that hopefully can be addressed perhaps more effectively by this broader coalition of security forces.
That is true. This is true. And, you know, I would also like to mention the fact that with the absence of major global powers in West Africa, France has left, America has left, Germany has left, and I think there was a small other, maybe Canadian force in West Africa. They have also left. So we are left to our own devices. We are left alone as West Africans to protect and preserve our own society. And this can only be done, I stress, with the leadership of Nigeria. Nigeria has the manpower, the resources, and also I would say the leadership. I'm not sure I mentioned that. In West Africa, it's the natural leader in Africa, not to talk of West Africa. It's important that we provide this, we fill in this vacuum where the Americans and the French tried hard in Niger, in Burkina Faso, in Mali for decades. We now can have a local solution with ECOWAS. Even though many of these countries have left, 3 of them have left, it does not mean they're not coming back. But it's important that we ensure we take care of our own challenges. There's an article I wrote about preventative diplomacy and how, with the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, ECOWAS has put things in place, or putting things in place to fill in that vacuum and to prevent crises that may come up again with those 2 countries I mentioned. There's Cote d'Ivoire coming up with an election, there's Togo. These are brewing problems. And we don't want a situation whereby on CNN or Al Jazeera, we're talking about you know, another, God forbid, another political crisis, refugees, or carnage. And Nigeria is stabilizing right now. The economy is in a better place. We have the opportunity to now export even better to West Africa and other parts of Africa. So it's a good market, and it's important for our own economic well-being, apart from political, to ensure those countries are in a very stable position. Okay. Because again, as I said, the Western countries are not involved as much as they were before.
Okay. Mr. Durosimi, good morning to you, sir. Mr. Durosimi, good morning to you, sir. Mr. Durosimi, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
This is AIG Durosimi speaking from Lekki.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, White. Yeah, good morning. This initiative is very, very, very interesting, and it will surely prevent border attacks. If all IGPs are cooperating with each other, and it will ensure that no criminal will run from one country to another and have a safe haven. You can see the collaboration being made by IGP Egbetukun Power, the police bosses across West Africa have been cooperating with each other, and that has prevented people from carrying vehicles from Nigeria to Benin Republic. And even when you do that, to arrest the culprit is always very easy. Criminals do commit crime when they know there's no safe haven for them. And this initiative will also lead to a that a problem in any country, after election or before election, it means that a particular country, ABC country, can contribute policemen to support each other. If this comes to reality, it will solve some of our problems. Really, this insurgency in the Northwest, it shows that when people run away from one place, the police there is waiting to catch them. And at the same time, if you look at it very well, you will discover that most problems are more policing. It's a more police problem than even military. And with the cooperation with this, the police within the West African region, the region will become safer, and it will bring development. That's
well,
so the people in ECOWAS for what they are doing.
Well, it's good that you called in.
Know the environment more than even the police or the military.
Okay.
So bringing civilian into it means that they will have to show them where the criminals are hiding and collaborate with them. Most crimes are local. It's a good initiative.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Drozumi, calling in from Lekki on that. And then, Ademola, the other point is that I think the point was made, in the parley, that this can't just be this workshop, and that's what it is, let it be understood at the moment. It's not yet policy, but it's a workshop to fashion out a roadmap, but that it mustn't become just a document, fine as it might be. There's that aspect to some of these things that we do, perhaps. Are you concerned about that there's so many good ideas that, emerge, evolve from coming together at workshops like this, but then the point was made that it must go beyond that? Are you assured that, yeah, that's what we should be aiming for and will be aiming for?
I think if it was before May 2023, I would be concerned. But with the new leadership we have, there's more purpose, there's more determination to not just bring initiatives, but also to see those initiatives being implemented. The president of Nigeria has also reiterated, you can Google it, he reiterated the fact that he was still very determined for this ECOWAS standby force, which incorporates the police and the military and the civilian unit you mentioned. He was quite, concerned over the delay in the implementation, the delay in the steps towards implementation. So the leadership of the country is very important, and the president has shown that it's not just going to be talk, it's going to be work. It's going to be action. And we'll see the fact that this standby force will take its position in West Africa. We will have the planes available, we'll have the soldiers available, we'll have the intelligence available, we'll have the police force, the Nigerian police force available in collaboration with other West African police force on standby. We'll have them ready in many ways to work behind the scene in preventing crisis. And if crisis do break out, we'll have them in place to make sure to stabilize the situation. And they'll hopefully be there for post-conflict reconstruction and ensuring security is in place for the victims of this crisis. So it's a West African initiative, and it's something that I believe that it's already taken step, that it's not even possible for it to just be lying, with dust accumulating on the shelf. It's something that I believe will be implemented in the foreseeable future.
Okay.
Steps already been in place, so it's a given.
Good morning, Ibrahim, and thank you for holding on. Go ahead. Ibrahim, can you hear us? Good morning.
Good morning, Uncle.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Okay, we've been waiting for you. Go ahead, please.
Yes. The issue you are discussing, already Nigeria, yes.
Already Nigeria has been placed in a very quiet position to lead any regional, to play, continental leadership in terms of political, socio-economic activities, as far as as far as even the whole continent is concerned. Unfailingly, that leadership continued to dwindle over the years. It was at the peak of it when we were able to suppress the uprising in Libya at that time, and we know the kind of role and support we play. But it is because internally, Nigeria as a country cannot be able to manage its leadership position, because all these things happening around us, we know how many countries are surrounding, how many West African countries are surrounding, having sharing border with Nigeria. So, and they depend on us in most of the things we do, because we overexpose ourselves. We overexpose ourselves over the year, and we feel there is an ECOWAS protocol, there is this, so we just left everything open to the extent that even locally we have connivance with them. So I think that, like every other document, Nigeria should take this workshop, whether you call it workshop, very seriously, because now we are at a disadvantage because of this insecurity, and they come through all these areas. Nigeria is the only country in the world you just take anything out, just bring in anything out through the surrounding country. And some of those countries will not allow us to do the same thing with us. So I believe that they will take it beyond territories and apply the practical approach to it, so that the result can be gotten, because we are already feeling the heat of that overexposure of our country to the West African community. And finally, too, we have the West African court, and you see that the attitude we play to our local court, this also carry it to them. But some of the things they ask you, there is judgment. You see that it's not complied with, even locally and West Africa, and such people will not take us serious. So finally, we must be serious ourselves for other people to take us very seriously. Thank you very much, Koyori.
Thank you very much, sir, for calling in. I'm sure Mr. Ademola Oshodi has much to say about that. We are serious. Are we being taken seriously? He would love for us to be taken seriously, is the point he's making.
Yeah, I think what he's basically saying is, I believe, is we're taking more serious, and intentions have to be more serious and purposeful. And that's a given with the leadership, the new leadership we have in the country. It's not just pushing and driving domestic reforms and agenda. It's also having a very viable, vibrant foreign policy, especially when it deals with West Africa. So yes, this ensuring that we have strong structures in place, strong institutions, not only in Nigeria, but in West Africa, with the ECOWAS and ECOWAS courts and the standby force as an institution itself, is something that I think that they believe the leadership of the country with the president is taken very, very serious. The same determination and boldness is taken in domestic issues, domestic policy, is what is taken in West Africa. West Africa will, I believe, will be in a better place. He led West Africa with being a president of ECOWAS, or chairman of ECOWAS, for a good 2 terms. It's a rare fit. And though there was a lot of military change around the time he came in, and while he was head of ECOWAS, he's brought more stability and brought initiatives like this standby force, the police force, the military force in ECOWAS. This part of the ECOWAS mechanism for preventive issues. So ECOWAS has put those protocols in place against violent change in government, and put things in place for preventative diplomacy. I keep emphasizing this preventative diplomacy because I think it's very important that we don't just react when crises happen, but we put things in place like this standby force to prevent it. There's back channels discussions with these military rulers in West Africa. There's back channels discussions with places that may be prone to crisis with elections coming up and things like that. These are things that people will not see, but they will see this and hear about the standby force that will be put in place.
Let me bring on a viewer is waiting to comment. So let me bring on Mazi Okorafo, who has called in from Arochukwu. Good morning, Mazi.
Good morning, I guess. Mazi Okorafo.
Okay.
Honestly speaking, ECOWAS for now, the formidable force under security is shaking, even the trade. I think last time ECOWAS said that they are going to have a formidable, that's a currency, perhaps for the African countries. Right? What is delaying it? That is the question. They make a lot of proposals, but to make it functional, it's always a problem. Now, if we have a formidable ECOWAS security network, all these boundaries, all these criminals that travel from one country to another will not happen. I think we have seen what's happening in Chad, what's happening in all these criminal Africa. Today's history. Let's refer back to what happened past years when the remarked they were in the military, what we call ECOMOG. We saw how ECOMOG did very well. And it was a formidable security network between ECOWAS countries. It was vibrant and it was properly financed. Even Nigeria was the Bahadas, what I mean by the actors at the Giant of Africa. But what is happening now? So that is why we have to go back to the basis, borrow a leaf from the history of ECOWAS to make it work now. Because now is another serious problem. Because look at ECOWAS countries within the ECOWAS system. See how hunger, poverty ravages within the four walls of those boundaries. What is happening? Because of this infidels, all this frustration, all this, which is not healthy for ECOWAS countries. And I think we have seen what happened with the Sahel continent. What are they doing? You see, if there's any problem within the Sahel continent, what do they do? As a force, they tackle it. But here, ECOWAS, everybody say, I don't want to join, I don't want to belong, which is not healthy. Honestly, I will advise ECOWAS countries, please, go back to history. Bring back, revive what happened in those days to present, because this generation now, we need food. How do we need food? We need food because with all this security network I've done, it was because look at a lot of smuggling between the ECOWAS countries, which is not healthy. It's affecting the economy of the countries that belong to ECOWAS, which is not healthy. Honestly, the needful must be done now or never. At least if we go to any country, we don't need visa to go to any place. We don't need a scholarship to be given within ECOWAS, that the common way that's going on. ECOWAS make it there. Thank you very much, Mazu Krafo. Have a blessed day and a safe weekend.
Well, thank you very much. And the standby force is still there. But this meeting, in fact, its proper official nomenclature is the ECOWAS Police Focal Point Officers Meeting. And it was held in Abuja on Wednesday, by senior officials and representatives from across the 15 member countries. So talking about going back to history, it's like we never left. We're building upon that. But our expert is Mr. Ademola Oshodi, so he'll respond to that. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I totally agree with the caller in some aspect. The fact that there's been, historically, great initiatives in Africa in general, and then everything just basically just petters away, and we don't hear anything about it. But I can basically speak on the leadership, the new leadership in the country of Nigeria, which is in many ways leading the natural leader of ECOWAS and the founding members. That what initiative this president has started is taking fruition. It is coming to play, which is the standby force. There's also moves towards the ECOWAS currency they talked about. But again, this is not its initiative. But because of the leadership role he has, he's also taking steps to see the completion of that. But again, safely, the initiative of this new government is to ensure that there's stability and development and prosperity in West Africa. The standby force is like, I would say, like the small chops of you get in party. It is the beginning of what you get, in many ways when the crisis or preventative crisis in a problem in any country in West Africa. So you're giving small chops, but the standby force is to ensure that that stability and that cohesion is put in place. And then the big meal comes later on, the rice and the Chinese and the amala. So we should look at it as a beginning of a stabilizing initiative for problems that may happen in West Africa. Again, I emphasize we're dealing with a tremendous amount of upheaval. We have 4 military governments in West Africa. We haven't had this since the 70s, and so we have 4 governments. 3 of them have left ECOWAS. We don't want more, and there's issues that are brewing. The Americans have left. They had a massive base. They have a big base in Niger Republic. The French had bases all around West Africa, almost all of their French African former colonies. Most of them have left. They've been kicked out in everywhere, even Senegal. So it's important that that vacuum is put in place, that we have our own indigenous West African force with the police, led by the police, the initiative of the government of Nigeria towards under the leadership of Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the standby force, with a strong police presence, military presence, civilian presence, emergency care, intelligence. It is to fill up that vacuum. We do not want a DRC Congo crisis that we experience in East Africa. We don't want Sudan spreading around West Africa, and we definitely do not want more military takeovers in West Africa. And we don't want people leaving ECOWAS, because ECOWAS is not only a stabilizing force for the region, it's also great for economic development. So it's important that people understand the fact that this is the beginning of stability and reversing, I believe, a lot of the crisis that is happening in West Africa. We have, I would say, the leadership of ECOWAS ensuring that not just our collaboration with our member states, but also with foreign partners. The Americans are providing a lot of intelligence, so is the French, so is other countries, in bringing stability in those Sahel regions, where there's, again, light ammunition coming in, light arms coming in from Libya, where there's also migration across the Sahara through the Mediterranean to Europe. The Europeans are very concerned about that. They're ready to throw money at that problem. We also have issues of the piracy around the coast of many West African countries, which has, thank God, has gone down tremendously, especially around Nigeria. It's almost, you don't hear of piracy around the Gulf of Guinea anymore as much. So that's a lot that has to do with collaboration with foreign partners. So ECOWAS can only just build on this initiative, build on this things with the standby force, the police, military, etc., in ensuring that we have a safe and stable region. It's also something that other regional bodies in in Africa look up to and copy. They look at ECOWAS and see how ECOWAS did it. The East African Economic Union community is in disarray. They do not have the kind of leadership we have in West Africa. South Africa, SADC, also is dominated by South Africa, and they still find it difficult to help their own bordering regions. You cannot go on about Central African regional community or North Africa, where there's crisis in Libya, things like that. So ECOWAS is the most successful regional body in Africa. And
in spite of our challenges.
With the leadership of, oh, definitely, and there will always be challenges, but bringing up those initiatives that the President of Nigeria has done in ensuring that we dialogue with these people behind the scene, we provide financial assistance to these military regimes as much as they don't like us, and we also ensure that to put things in place for to mitigate any crisis, the standby force. I will tell you clearly that with all the propaganda you hear, you read on social media about the success of these military regimes in West Africa, it's really not the same what is been experienced on the ground. Unfortunately, there's a lot more crisis than you would see. There's even with the intervention of foreign non-state actors in trying to stabilize that place, it has only exacerbated the place.
Indeed.
So we have the standby force in many ways, and this standby force that we're talking about can also be filling up that vacuum, whereby there will not be a need for foreign mercenaries or non-state actors to come in and say, well, there's nobody to help you, but we can help you. No, ECOWAS will have this strong military force equipped and capable of providing your security, stability, and in many ways post-conflict resolution. It's a great initiative. It's a win-win.
All right.
And it's the beginning of residing or bringing back the stability we wanted in the region.
Indeed. Thank you very much for bringing up the whole matter of what people are seeing on social media, especially a lot of AI videos. That's when you say that what you are seeing in those videos does not match what is on the ground. That in itself is another form of, warfare. As you said, non-state actors, muddying up the waters, giving unreal and unrealistic representations of the state of their country. And unfortunately, perhaps too many consumers of social media believe that once they see a video of it, it is actually real. Happily, a lot of people are beginning to understand that that is not the case. This is a different era from, when ECOMOG was doing, the good work that it was doing. But AI, things like intelligence, those have changed, and I suppose they also come into what we have to take account of as we are doing. Now the war, well, I won't call it a war yet, but it is a combative situation. But at least now people know that it's not what it has always been. Drones have come into it. There still is the matter of the porous borders of not just Nigeria, but other countries as well. So when this is said to be a multi-dimensional thing, I suppose maybe there will even be security of the borders as part of the challenge here.
Yes, it's the borders are again notoriously very porous in West Africa, but I believe Nigeria has taken tremendous steps in curbing that, at least for its own West African part. There's crisis in north of Nigeria, in Niger, with the military, and there's even crisis in Cameroon, at the east, whereby there's there's an insurgency trying to remove the age-old leader of Cameroon. Sorry, the even Anglophile, the English-speaking Cameroonians trying to fight for their own autonomy or independence, I should say. So there's light arms could be flying in, ammunition, refugees can be coming in. So we need to have strong borders, and I know that the head of the customs is putting great initiatives in place to ensure that's it's been done. Apart from the smuggling that comes in that affects our economy and our manufacturing, and distorts our whole pricing regime. So the great thing is ensuring that our own home is put in good standing. And then we can now, in many ways, replicate that in West Africa with its initiatives, ensuring light arms, coming from Libya or smuggling from the coast.
Yeah.
Or in many cases, the Europeans would love us, the West Africans, curbing migration through the Sahara, Libya or Tunisia, all the way to the Mediterranean, going by boats across Europe. They want us, they will put funds towards that. So in many ways, we can use that for our own benefit.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there.
Yes.
Ademola, thank you very much, Mr. Ademola Oshodi. We're going to have to leave it here. Our look at the proper designation being the ECOWAS Police Focal Point Officers meeting, helping us to understand it a bit. Do appreciate it, and suppose it has enlightened us on what ECOWAS is doing. Of course, when we meet, and because of your area of specialization, we can't really squeeze it into a small. We wish we had more time. I would have wanted you to talk a bit more about things that are going on politically, and the delicacy in Africa, in West Africa, and the delicacy of touch that is going to be needed. You cited a number of countries that continue to want to represent themselves for election. But there will always be another time. So I want to thank you very much, Mr. Ademola Oshodi, for coming on the program.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, then. So we're going to have to leave it there for today. Do please join us on Monday for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folari. Bye-bye for now.